I am 68, really healthy otherwise, married with 2 adult children, both partnered. I learned 2 weeks ago that I have squamous cell carcinoma, HPV positive 16. Ontario medical care now begins quickly, after my 3 months of questions, with a CT scan and meetings with the oncologist and surgeon over the next 12 days. My wife has a couple of important golf tournaments in the next 8 days, then her birthday and our anniversary. Is it wrong for me not to say anything until all that is out of the way? How long can I go before telling my children? I prefer to wait as long as possible. Approaching midnight here and past my bedtime. Thursday is a day-long golf event, and I can't comment further until late. All of the comments so far are appreciated, but I don't understand the Walter references. She is glad that I did not tell her this week, though she wishes I had told her at the outset a month ago. She didn't do great in the tournament but was happy to win the match today and really enjoyed the attention from the other ladies for her birthday yesterday. She'll accompany me to the CT scan tonight. After the second biopsy, CT, MRI, and PET scans, I met with both the oncologist and surgeon. I will see them again next week with my wife to hear their treatment suggestions in greater detail. It's a tumor at the base of my tongue, likely transoral robotic surgery for glossectomy, dissection for the lymph nodes, and then targeted radiation for 6 weeks with 5 sessions each week. I will also be considering declining treatment as we review all options. My adult children will be told next weekend. Thanks to so many for their concern and have enjoyed the first 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. Story 1. If my spouse or partner had that news, I would want to be told. I would probably just cancel the tournaments. Stage 4 is serious, but there is always hope. Fight and good luck. Story 2. If the roles were reversed, how long would you want to be in the dark about news like this? I understand your point, but she might feel betrayed that you waited to tell her. You're a team after all, and this is a big mountain to climb. Story 3. If I were your partner or your children, I would like to know right away. My grandfather did the same thing to us, and even after his passing, we are so hurt by his decision not to tell us. We regret every moment not spent with him. My grandmother was extremely hurt by his decision, and she blamed herself for not being able to support or notice it early. Please reconsider. Story 4. Former hospice certified nursing assistant here. One of the things people rarely realize is just how quickly people progress. I don't know your particular situation, but I used to regularly hear how my patient would be running miles several months earlier and now can't get out of bed on their own. You have a lot of work to do to get everything in order, and keeping this a secret will only make it harder. Story 5. You are more important than some stupid golf tournament. If she loves you, then she wouldn't give a damn about the golf. You must tell her right away. You need her support and the support of your grown-up kids. Don't leave it until the last minute. It's not fair on them. Story 6. My dad has cancer. They didn't tell us until he was starting treatment. At that point, it had spread and he needed a lobe of his lung removed. Not only that, we have always been a close family, and knowing they suffered in silence for months was hard. Tell your wife. Maybe wait until you have scan results to tell the kids. They'll want to know how bad the prognosis is, and you won't have those answers until after scans. Good luck, internet stranger. Cancer is terrible. Story 7. My husband and I know each other so well that just walking into a room with the other, we can tell something is off. Tell her now. Wishing you the best. Story 8. It is ultimately up to you, my friend. It is your life to live. There are pros and cons to both paths from a logical standpoint. Telling her before those events may ruin them for her, but you can predict her reaction better than we can, I imagine. She may also be quite upset that you left her out of the loop on something so serious, and the longer you wait, the more upset she may be. Godspeed, brother. No matter what you choose, just make sure to enjoy all of it the best you can. Story 9. You should have told her the day you found out. The fact that you have already been hiding this for 2 weeks is already too long. You said yourself you would want to know immediately if she had news like this. Tell her immediately. Story 10. I don't understand the Walter stuff has me rolling. They're referring to Breaking Bad. In all sincerity, it's your life and your family, so you know what is best. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with waiting a little while, because everything and everyone will be different once you drop the news. But also, there's never a good time, and telling your family will allow them to support you during your journey. Keeping news like that inside you can eat you away. I really hope you get that support sooner rather than later. Sending lots of healing thoughts your way. I highly recommend looking into high-potency tetrahydrocannabinol oil as a means of killing cancer cells. Lots of peace. Story 11. To be fair, if you just waited until after that stuff, she would be livid you didn't tell her when you knew, and those days wouldn't be spent golfing even if that's what you wanted her to do. She would likely spend most of that time just being around you. The children are important too, don't get me wrong. They deserve to know early so that if the time comes and you are gone, they know they did everything they could to be with you and said everything that was previously left unsaid. Cancer isn't a joke, and at stage 4 the chances for survival are low. But the people who get the opportunity to live and then develop it and get diagnosed early enough have the opportunity to make everything meaningful. Story 12. My husband had stage 4 squamous cell cancer in 2007, affecting his tongue and neck. He underwent extensive surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. He's still here today and thriving. Story 13. In my opinion, she has a say in what happens over the next 8 days. If you do not tell her, you take it away. Just because your reasons are noble does not mean they are ethical, and it definitely does not mean they are wise. If your wife had stressful news, would you want her to shoulder it alone? Even just for 8 days. Same for your kid. Figure out that problem with your wife. Err on the side of early. Grieving is painful, but some things make it infinitely worse, like leaving things unsaid or wondering what if. Regret never goes away. Your only chance is to do it right the first time. The pain of losing someone is like a hole in your heart that cannot heal. But you can grow your heart by embracing love and life so that as your heart grows, that pain becomes a smaller and smaller part of who you are. Give your kids enough time to figure out what they need and time to say it and do it. There are good and bad ways to die. Some set up the people you leave behind to thrive, and some taint their memory of you. You want to keep things secret to protect the ones you love from undue pain. The way to do that is to do things right, not secretly. My father, I hate to say, did not do things right, and it led to 7 years of untold suffering. One child is struggling to recover. One has passed and cannot. A lot of money was lost, and it led to a near bankruptcy halfway through. Finally, psychedelic mushrooms or methylenedioxymethamphetamine have been useful in helping people make peace with passing and for those who are losing them. It has happened in the past that, after a direct message, one person took care of another with an anonymous delivery. Story 14. First off, I want to say I'm really sorry to hear that. I can't imagine what you're going through right now. Second, this is coming from a young, fairly healthy guy, so I don't know how much you'll feel it applies to you. But if that were me, I'd want to just hear anybody's thoughts, so here goes. Waiting short-term may not be the end of the world, but don't get lost in it. Wanting your wife to enjoy her hobby and your anniversary one last time before everything goes bad may seem like a great idea, but there are a few things to consider. You won't be able to hide it for that long. Cancer treatment is an absolute challenge, even if you're so far along that they're just trying to improve your quality of life. It would be 1,000 times worse if she found out by you being forced into a situation than if you just told her, and it lets her at least feel like she's able to support you as opposed to feeling pushed away. The longer you wait, the less time you'll have. I'm sure this isn't news to you, but when something like this comes along, it tends to trivialize all those other things in life that used to seem so important. Would your wife rather spend a few days playing golf than by your side? If you've got another 20 years together, sure. If you've got another 20 weeks, maybe not. The feeling of lost time is only going to be worse if she finds out she could have had more. Regarding point 2, I understand, as much as someone who's never been through that sort of thing can, the desire to leave your kids' lives undisturbed as long as possible, but especially if they live any distance from you or don't see you often, the above is exceptionally true. Telling them will hurt. It'll hurt them, it'll hurt you, and it will definitely throw their lives out of order. But unless you intend to just pass away on them without warning, and can convince your wife not to tell them until then, that's going to happen anyways, and you're going to be around to see it. The only difference is the time they have to spend with you, and the feelings that come along with it. For perspective on that last one, if I found out my dad had a few months or a year to live, I'd be absolutely heartbroken. But if I found out he had a few months to live and didn't tell me until the last moment, I'd be even more heartbroken. On top of that, I'd be mad, I'd be shocked, and I'd be ashamed, among plenty of other things. I'd probably spend a whole lot of time wondering why he didn't tell me sooner. I'd wonder if I did something wrong as his son that he didn't want me there supporting him. I'd wonder why he thought he had the right to do that to me. And I'd probably wonder a whole lot of other things along those lines. Basically, the pain that's going to come with this isn't avoidable. You've landed in an emotional quagmire. But before you spend too much energy trying to protect the people you care about from it, be sure that's actually what you're doing. Not really an answer to the question you asked, but I just wanted to share that. Best of luck, man. Story 15, you should watch Breaking Bad. It will help you understand the Walter story. An old chemistry teacher finds out he has cancer, so he decides to become a drug lord. It's an extremely well-crafted and realistic story. I highly recommend it. The edit at the end made me chuckle really hard. Best wishes to you. I hope you can survive through the adversity. Story 16. Tell her immediately. You are removing her ability to make choices by not telling her. This stuff changes life. It brings pain, but it also brings opportunities for grace that you would be denying yourself and your loved ones. That grace is found through shared moments with your loved ones. You aren't sharing the moment if you're keeping that information to yourself. My father died last week. I am extremely fortunate that my family and I had all the difficult conversations we could, as soon as we could, so we could enjoy as much time with him as possible and get all our affairs in order before the time came. In his final hours, we held his hands and told him we loved him. We did not have to waste time and energy on tying up loose ends or on the bureaucratic complications of dying. Another tip: make sure your living will is in order. That includes your wishes for end-of-life care, for example. Do you want cardiopulmonary resuscitation or intubation? Give a copy of your living will and your medical power of attorney to someone you trust to carry out your wishes. Good luck, friend. My father thought he had 6 months to live 10 years ago. The last 10 years were tough at times, but were an absolute blessing. Story 17. Do you need to share the exact date you found out about the cancer? Can you wait for her to do one of her tournaments in a day or two and then tell her like it is fresh news? If so, then yes, unpopular, but I see your view on wanting to preserve her last few days of bliss and ignorance. I wouldn't wait any longer than that. Definitely want to loop her in soon, well before your further appointments, so other arrangements can be made. But if 2 or 3 days can give her a little bit of peace, I don't think there is anything wrong with it. As for your children, discuss that with your wife, but you should tell them soon after you know what the prognosis or plan will be. They deserve the chance to optimize every second they have with you. Sorry you have to deal with this. May God be with you and your family. Story 18. My dad didn't tell us until 6 weeks before he died. He never even considered any treatments. It's one of the only things I'm resentful towards him for. Even if he didn't do any treatment, it would have been nice to know when he found out and not 6 weeks before he passed. It left us completely unprepared in every aspect. Emotionally, financially, and so on. Story 19. I'm so sorry, original poster. Please tell her tonight. You've already waited 2 weeks. I'm guessing she has already picked up that something is wrong. She deserves to know how serious it is. She is going to be devastated if she realizes you waited that long, and she will if you tell her the day before your appointments. She needs to know that this may be the last time she gets to celebrate your anniversary or her birthday with you. She's not going to give a damn about golf. You both need time to prepare for the battle ahead before those appointments. Story 20. To you, you are trying to let her enjoy things like normal before dropping a bomb. To her, maybe this is the last birthday and anniversary she will ever have with you. If it is the last, then she may regret not truly appreciating it more if she had known. Story 21. I believe it to be a good idea to wait until after to tell people. Them knowing won't change much other than to ruin their activities. If it can wait until after their events, I personally would. No sense in making things painful any sooner. I think it's a kind gesture. Good luck, my friend. Hopefully, something can be done. Story 22. Look, I've had multiple friends whose parents hid cancer from them. They were busy, had families, were in graduate school. In no case did the child feel it was a good idea. In every case, they would have set other things aside to spend time with their parents. This move is not protective. It's actually harmful. It robs them of time with you. Story 23. You've waited too long, original poster. Your wife cares less about those tournaments than she does about you. Go tell her now. And I'm sorry, cancer really sucks. Fight the good fight. Story 24. I give you much respect from one man to another for even thinking about not telling your wife until after all the happy moments are past. But with that said, 10 gift days followed by why didn't you tell me? Anger and sadness days. Is that worth it? Granted, you know your wife better than any of us random internet strangers. Good luck. I'm hoping for the best outcome for you. Story 25. I started out going against the grain and typing up my reasons for why I thought it was okay to wait to tell her. But as I was writing it, I realized I was wrong. I would feel the way you do in your shoes, but if I were in her shoes, I know I should be told right away. Tell her now. I understand your reasons for wanting to give her a few more happy events before her world is rocked. However, what she wants, what the vast majority of us would want, it seems, is to spend that time with you, to process it all, to adjust as much as possible, to be able to reassess how she's spending her time, to help you. She doesn't care about those happy events as much as she cares about you. It's doing her a disservice to keep it from her. And you're risking making it hurt her more the longer you wait. Unless it's that you need more time to process it alone before telling others. In that case, I feel it's okay to wait until you're ready. You're the one who is ill and facing possible mortality. But if it really is just for her benefit, then do right by her and tell her now. Best of luck to you. I hope you kick its butt.